And let's do speaker. Okay, perfect. So for one, happy new year, y'all. Thank you all so much for joining this live today, this Zoom, this workshop called New Year, New Money Habits. For one, I'm super excited about 2023 because just reflecting back on 2022, it was a lot of stuff that happened in my life personally. And a season of like just thinking about like things that didn't necessarily go the way that I wanted to go, goals that didn't get accomplished, just all of this different stuff. I'm like, okay, Kiani, take a step back and really look at where God has you right now versus where he wants you to be. So I feel like it's important that we have that perspective, the same thing with our finances. So you may be looking back at 2022 like, dang, I was working so hard and I don't have nothing to show for it. Or I've been saving a whole lot of my money and then boom, this emergency came up. Or I'm trying so hard to get my credit score up, but it just seems like something is always happening and I can't get ahead. So I'm here to tell you, like, I understand how you feel. I know how you feel. And just because I call myself today the responsible homegirl, that doesn't mean I just woke up like this, because I didn't. I did not wake up and arrive at being the responsible homegirl. It was literally a process. So I always say that I am literally the leader, or I used to be the leader of the irresponsible homegirls. So prior to 2020, when I really started, or maybe 2019, the end of 2019, when I really started taking my personal finance journey serious and just started learning a whole lot more, I knew nothing about money. So I just wanted to start that off with saying, like, give yourself grace during this time. Do not be overwhelmed with where you are, but also know that if you want to see a change in your finances, you're going to have to be the one to do it. Point blank, period. You're going to have to be the one to do it. So if y'all pulled out the workbook that I sent, this is basically what we're going to go along with as a guide. And if you're on IG listening, you don't have access to the workbook, but later on, if you register, like you can click link in my bio, register, I can definitely send you the workbook. But starting off, I just have like a little greeting from the responsible homegirl. I'm not going to social intelligence and read it for you, but I do want to give y'all just a little bit of backstory about who I am and how I even got to the responsible homegirl. So I was blessed enough to go to college completely debt free. So I don't have not one student loan. So when I was in high school, I was the smart girl, made good grades, was this overachiever. But my senior year, my mom told me, she was like, Kiani, I know you want to go to college, but I don't have no money to send you there. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, how am I get to college? In my head, I did not think about student loans. So I was up morning, noon, and night applying for different scholarships, just trying to figure out how I was going to get to college. Now, thank God I went to college completely debt free. I had so many scholarships that every single semester I would get anywhere between $5,000 and $7,000. So just imagine my 18, 19-year-old self with a $7,000 refund check. Now, I went to the College of Charleston, which is downtown Charleston. And if you've ever been on King Street, you know we had all of these different stores like Forever 21, H&M, nail salons, bars, restaurants, just all of this different stuff. So I was in an environment where it was very easy for me to blow my money, which was fine because I didn't have any real responsibilities. Now, let's fast forward to my senior year of college. I'm still going to school debt free, still getting these $7,000 refund checks. But now I'm deciding that I want to be grown, so I move off campus. Now, my mama told me this whole time, Kiani, don't get no apartment. Like, you've been staying on campus 3 whole years. Why do you want to move off campus now? I didn't listen because, like I said, I wanted to be grown. Moved off campus. Literally, y'all, within 4 months, I was looking at my bank account and did not have my rent money, which at the time was $889. So I'm looking at my account. I'm like, dang, do I go back to my mama and ask her for this money and hear like some curse words and I told you so and all this other stuff that I really don't want to hear because I'm already stressed out? Or am I just going to figure this thing out? So I went with the latter option because of my pride. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to ask my mom for this money. I'm going to just figure it out. So I took out a blank sheet of paper and I literally wrote down what I was making from the 2 jobs that I had and how much was coming out of my account. I was going through my big statements with a fine eye, like, okay, I'm spending money on this. I'm getting my nails done every 2 weeks. Like, I got it for real. And these are all of the things that we do. We eat out every single day. We give people money. We just do all of this different stuff as if we have it for real because we don't know our numbers. So today, what we're going to do is really take a deep dive into your habits, because you can say with your mouth all day, like, I want to manage my money better. I want to do this. I want to do that. But if you don't have the eye to look at what you got going on right now, you will never do something different, like ever. So after that whole entire situation of me figuring this stuff out, I quit both of my jobs. I got 2 new jobs, one job that made me more money, and then another job that gave me a discount on my rent. So sometimes within your personal finance journey, you got to be a little bit creative. You got to cut some stuff back. I like to always say, you got to cut back to come up. Many times we want to do stuff different in our lives, but we don't want to like have that sacrifice season. Y'all, I went like almost 2 years without getting a full set. And to this day, I still don't get my nails done as consistently as I once did before, because you have to know what you're working towards is so much greater than this temporary satisfaction that you're getting now by going out to eat or doing something or just whatever like your thing is. All of us have a thing. And specifically, we're talking about money. So all of us has a thing when it comes to money. It could be you swiping your credit card for money that you don't have in your account. It could be you not saving your money because you don't see the importance. It could be you eating out every day. It could be just whatever. Like, all of us has a thing. And I really want us tonight to get to the root of that thing so we can enter into 2023 with some new money habits. So are y'all feeling good? Y'all ready? I can keep going. That was just a little intro. We're about to get started for real. Okay, so I'm about to share my screen. Can y'all see this fine? The workbook? Yes. Yeah, I see Elijah not. And for those of you who just joined, if you can turn on your camera if you want to, please do so. I really want this to be as interactive as possible. And yeah, but if you don't want to, there's no pressure. So let's start off with reflecting on 2022. So first thing first, this is a fillable PDF. So as you are going through this workbook, you can type it. If you want to later on print it out, you can do that as well. But the first thing that I want you to focus on is your earnings. So how much did you actually earn this year? Many times we are working so hard and we don't even know how much money we're really making. So how much money did you earn for your full-time job? If you have a part-time job, how much money did you earn from that? Side hustles. Sometimes we can go throughout the year and we forget about all of the things that we do. So take some time and think about how much money did I really earn in 2022? So if you're a teacher and let's just say you earn 35K, but you babysit some people on the side and every single month you was earning $600. 600 times 12, what's that? Oh my gosh, why did I do that example? Because I definitely, I definitely don't know off the top of my head. But whatever that number is, you will put that for part-time because that's what you did part-time. And then any other side hustles, if you did DoorDash or if you Uber, if you did like whatever it is, I really want you to get to the Elijah, you are being so distracting. 7,200. Thank you, Sherelle. 7,200. So anything that you did on the side, make sure that you take note of that. Now, the next thing that I want you to do is based on what you earn, do you feel like you have something to show for it? So I want us to take some time to think about what we earned this year. I'm gonna maybe give like 2 minutes. And then based on what you earn, do you feel like you have something to show forward? And like I said earlier, I want this to be very interactive. And like I always tell people, like whatever you share here, you don't have to worry about it leaving here, but whatever is learned here, I want to encourage you to share it with other people. So don't be afraid, don't be timid. We are literally all in this together, all working towards doing better with our money. So just don't let anything intimidate you or stop you from sharing if you feel comfortable sharing. So let's think about how much did you earn this year? And do you feel like you have something to show for it? And if anybody wants to share, you can unmute yourself or you can drop it in the chat. Okay, Kiara, you can go ahead.
Okay, guys, happy New Year to everyone. Just to start off, I can honestly say one of my bad habit was definitely spending, but out of throughout the whole year, the only thing I can honestly say, and it was, excuse me, let me start off. It was at a point of time where I was making more money than my mother. I
Mm,
have never, my mother came to me, was like, yeah, you're making double than I have ever made in my life.
wow.
So with that being stated, at a young age, it was a goal for me, but at the same time, my money habits were horrible. Those
Mhm,
spending habits were definitely horrible. And the only thing I can definitely show for it is just a new car, unfortunately.
mhm,
But now just maintaining the just the maintenance for the most part. But I would say just the only thing, but I do want to for this new year just to have more things that I can say that I've earned throughout having a good budget financial habit. So that's
right.
just a little thing I shared.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I want to just do a follow-up question. Like, how does it feel for you to say, like, dang, I'm earning double of what my mom has been earning, which is very great. Congrats on that. And you feel like the only thing that you have to show for it is your brand new car. How do you feel? And there's no right or wrong answer. I just really want to know, like, you know.
It felt good being that this was my second car purchase, but
Okay.
at the same time, I it's always that in the back of your mind, you always trying to strive for more.
Mhm.
That's what it felt like. Gosh, I got this, I met this goal, but what else? What other goals did I meet this year? And I felt kind of disappointed. So this year, I really want to be ambitious, more ambitious about achieving goals and will make sure I'm starting off budgeting before I can achieve these goals. So,
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I promise y'all, it is nothing wrong with wanting more. I think that it's important to want more because that fuels our actions we decide to do. But there are so many things that can happen right now if we just manage well what we already have. Like we want more. But if you're not managing your $50,000, if you're not managing your $30,000, why do you think that you should get more? Because people think that more money solves their problems, and that's not true. So I really appreciate you for sharing that, Kiera. And I really believe that, like, as we continue to go through this, you will start thinking a little bit about, okay, where else can I actually put more of my money to? And then by the end of 2023, I'm like, okay, I have this, and this to show for it. Like, I'm just not working in vain. Anybody else want to share anything? No? Okay, well, we'll keep moving along. So the next thing, reflecting on 2022, still spending. So outside of your major bills, what did you spend majority of your money on? What came in second? Look at your bank statements from the past 3 months. So I know right now you won't have time to look through your bank statements from the past 3 months, but later on, as you're just still having your own time with your finances, I really want you to think about that. Outside of your major bills, so car payment, rent, car insurance, just whatever it is, what is the main thing that you spend majority of your money on? Takeout food, yes, subscriptions. Girl, I don't understand how we have friends and we the ones with Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus. Like, why do you have 50 subscriptions? If y'all don't get creative, food, clothes, shoes, clothes that still has tags on them, exactly, food, all of this stuff. All of this stuff that we know. So as you are being more aware and more conscious of what it is that you're spending your money on, I'll never be the person to tell you don't spend your money on this or don't do that. But you do have to do everything in moderation. Anything that you do obsessively is not helping you at all, because the same money that you invest into getting a new iPhone every single year, I'll challenge you to say, do you have an Apple stock? And it's those small things. Like, I don't just have to be a consumer of this stuff. I can actually be the owner of this. So if I want to get a new iPhone every single year, okay, cool. If I want the new headphones, okay, cool. If I want a MacBook, cool. Because guess what? Every time Tiana, Kiera, and Elijah buy an iPhone, I'm also making money because I have stock in the company. So I really want us to develop this mindset of not just being consumers and buying stuff and hoarding stuff, but actually being owners. When it comes to food, girl, you got food at the house. You got food at the house. You do not have to eat out every single day of the week. Now, again, I'm not saying because you go to work, you work hard, the last thing that you want to do is say, oh my gosh, like, I don't got no money to eat. Like, no, we're not going to do that. Don't deprive yourself, because depriving yourself is not sustainable. But like I said before, everything has to be done in moderation. And just do little things with yourself, incentivize yourself. Say maybe like eating out is your thing. Say in 2023, I'm only going to eat out 3 days out of the week. So you set your 3 days, and if you want to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner on those 3 days, okay, cool. If it's like, okay, I'm really being disciplined, so I'm only going to eat out on the weekends, and throughout the week, I'm going to eat at home. And if you decide to eat out during the week, then on the weekend, you don't eat out. Like, you just got to make it fun. You got to make it work for you. Most of this stuff, it comes back to discipline. Sherelle, our mama tried to tell us that when we was little, wanting McDonald's. Okay, that's me for sure. Yes. So just being more aware, being more conscious of these things. Next thing, savings. What does that savings account look like? Did you save consistently every now and then, or not at all? So savings is something that I am truly passionate about, because just reflecting on my time back in 2020, I mean, not 2020, in 2019, if I had been saving money, I don't think that I would have been in a position where I was facing eviction. And I'm not sure if anybody on this call has ever like been in a situation where they were facing eviction, but that is not a good feeling when you're someplace and you don't even know how you're going to pay your rent. And being so embarrassed that you can't even pick up the phone and call your mama. And that was me, because my mama had just told me 4 months prior, Kiani, don't move off campus. So it's just like these different things like that. I believe if you save consistently, if you always have that cushion, when an emergency pops up, you're not all over the place. Yeah, you might have a little attitude, but it's not going to move you the same way because you're prepared. So savings is not just about doing like taking away from your fun money or taking away from whatever you want to spend your money on. It's about being prepared. It's about saving yourself the stress and the headache in the long run. So let's see what y'all talking about in this chat. Trash. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? Moving into this new year, you can definitely, because you know that it's trash, now you have the mindset like, okay, because this was this in 2022, I would be crazy to allow my same habits to come over into 2023. I struggle with savings. Sometimes I find myself going back into my savings. Girl, we all been a victim of that little quick transfer. That's what I call it. We in the store, we see our savings account, and we do that quick transfer because we want something right then and right there. So I have something that's going to help you combat that. That's later on in the guide. So we definitely going to talk about that more. I agree. I've been there several times. Not fun at all. Yeah, it's not a good feeling, and the stress that you feel from it, it's so unnecessary. So that's why I'm always preaching, y'all, manage your money, because financial stress is real. It's so real. But the good thing is there's a lot of things that we can do in our own power to avoid that stress. That's a fact. I save, but then when I get a lot of money, I start spending it. So I have to be more disciplined with saving. That is really good, Hope. And I'm happy you brought that up, because sometimes having that big amount of money, it could be enticing. Like, okay, I got 10K in my savings and this money just sitting there. But I really want us to rewire our thinking and attach a purpose to every single thing that you're doing. Don't just save money just to save money. If you're saving money for an emergency, this is your emergency money. If you're saving for a trip, this is your money for your trip. If you're saving so that every single month you have a time where you go shopping, you're saving for that. Always attach a purpose to why you're saving, so you're not tempted to just go out here and splurge just because the money is there. Next thing, on New Year's Eve, I moved some money into my savings. I told myself I won't touch it irresponsibly this year. I'm excited about seeing it within the next 6 months. Let's go, sis. I am so excited about that. That discipline. I struggle with feeling like I don't have enough spare to save. Thank you so much for your transparency. And that used to be me as well. And I feel that on a whole deeper level. And people that ask, Kiani, what do I save when I feel like I'm barely making it? I don't have enough. I always say, it's not about what you save. And you will even see this later on in your guide. Just save. You have $5. You have $10. You have $20. Save that. And the more you get in the habit and the practice of saving, the better off you'll be. Because it's not about, oh, every single month I have to save $250. You may not have $250 to save, but that same $25 can help you later on if an emergency pops up, or if somebody calls you and they are in need. So it's not about what you save. It's just about the practice, the habit of saving. Please do not believe the lie that when you start making more money, that you will save money. It's not going to happen. So if you are making $30,000 right now, you're making $50,000 right now, and you are not already saving what you can, when you do start making six figures, what makes you think that you're going to start just saving out of nowhere? It's just like the same person who says like, oh, I really want to work out, but whatever excuses people be making up. Like, the metaphor didn't come to my mind as quickly as I thought it would. But y'all get what I'm saying. Like, you can't just wake up one day and think like, oh, it's just going to happen overnight. No, it's these small habits that add up over time. Thank you so much for your transparency, Shanae. And like I said, it's not about the amount you save. It's the practice of saving. So that $5, that $10 that you spend on Chick-fil-A, make you a sandwich at the house, girl, and put that $10 in your savings account. Like, seriously. And I hate to make it seem so light, so simple, but it really is. In 2019, when I was down bad for real, and I just did not like how I was feeling, I was willing to do anything. I was willing to cut off anything. All them subscriptions had to go. Y'all, I remember cutting off my Apple Music, and I was like, I'm gonna just listen to Pandora, because Pandora is free. Free. I got Tidal a year ago, literally. And I'm not ashamed to say, you have to cut back to come up. I went years without getting my nails done, and I love getting my nails done. So in the midst of wanting to do better with your finances, know that it is going to take you some sacrificing. Next thing, your debt. So how much debt are you in? Make a list and write out the exact amount. I need you to know your numbers. Think about things like your car, your home, your credit cards, student loans, medical bills, etc. Many times we have our debt and we just, the debt is the debt. We're not looking at it. We're not paying it no attention. It's just there. No. Going into 2023, I need you to know your numbers. So if you have a car payment, if I say, Elijah, right now, how much do you own your car? You should be able to tell me I owe whatever on my car. If I say, how much is your interest rate? You should be able to tell me my interest rate is XYZ. Because nobody is just giving us anything, y'all. This is not just free money. The longer we take off to pay off debt, the more it's going to cost us. And at the end of the day, I'm not working to pay T-Mobile, my car, and just all of these different people. No, I am working so I can create the financial future that I desire, so that I can give when I want to give. I can take my family places. I can invest in my financial future and just do different things. So make sure as you are entering into 2023, you know how much debt you have. I don't care if you got to call somebody on the phone, if you got to download an app, if you got to look up an old bill, whatever you have to do to know your numbers and write them down here. Okay, let's see what y'all talking about. In 2022, I missed my playlist, but Pandora is lit too. Okay, I missed my playlist too, girl, but it's okay. It is okay. Cut back to come up. That'll preach. Yes. You got to do it. You got to do it. Most of the time it's because I'm lazy. I don't want to sit down and make no sandwich or nuggets when I can drive the CFA and grab me a 12 count. That's true. The convenience. But being disciplined is inconvenient sometimes. Being disciplined is so inconvenient sometimes, but it goes back to weighing. Like, do I want to continue to spend $400 or $500 a month eating out? Or do I want to build my account? So if my homegirl says, sis, let's go to Jamaica or let's go to Ireland, I'm not penny pitching and scrapping up the money or can't even go because the money isn't there because I want to eat out 7 days a week. So it's all about weighing what's most important. Sherelle said, woo child, I don't even know what I said, but I feel you. I'm preaching to my own self as well. Thanks for teaching me how to face it because I definitely have been ignoring debt. Yeah, you don't want to ignore your debt. You do not want to ignore your debt. That's the easy thing to do. And with our finances, we always do the easy thing to do. It's easy to not budget. It's easy to just go out. It's easy to just eat out. It's easy to do these things. Do the hard things. I feel like that should be the theme for us going into 2023. Do the hard stuff. Do the hard things. That debt, yes. Okay, moving right along. Giving. Giving is so important. So I want you to just take some time and think about how often do you give? Do you give consistently, every now and then? Not at all. Giving to me is near and dear to my heart because I just believe that, and then I go to a church where we preach, you give to give. You don't give just thinking like, oh, I'm doing this just so I can get something back. No, like understand when you put in seed in the ground, it don't even have nothing to do with the person or whoever that you're doing it for. God sees that more than anything. And when I tell you, you cannot out hustle, outwork God, you cannot. So I really want you to think about, what do you give? Whether that's to your church, whether that's to a random person, like just imagine the smile that you will put on a friend face or a family member face. If you just send them, hey, $20, lunch is on me today. And it's just $20. But that small thing could literally brighten up somebody's day. If you go out and buy food for yourself and you ask people, do y'all want some food? And then later on they say, how much I owe you? Girl, you don't owe me nothing. All of that stuff counts. And you are just building. Don't think about it as if like, it's just money coming out of my pocket or I'm taking this L or this money I could have saved. No, I want you to be in like, just, what can I say? Like just get in the habit of always giving, because if you are always giving, just trust and believe you will never be without, ever. Shanae, you can go ahead. I see you got your hand raised.
Hey girl, and I'm on Instagram camera, but okay. Hold on.
Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I can hear now.
Okay, so what I was gonna say is that I feel like I need help because I feel like I overgive. Look at Eli. I feel like I overgive and then like I go lacking, but it's like, well, I did give. So like, you got any tips on that?
How to
like,
balance?
Yeah, how to balance that.
Absolutely. Giving is very important, but at what expense? I feel like you cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty bank account. So my thing is, if you're giving, and then at the end of the day, you're struggling, like you got to make it make sense. And all of this stuff goes back to budgeting, which we're going to get into later on. When you sit down and you actually know your numbers. So let's just say, for instance, you get paid $1,200 every 2 weeks. And after you take that money out and you pay your bills, you do this, you do that. And now you can see clearly the money that you have left. I always tell people budgeting is about planning. We don't just sporadically give people money that isn't accounted for. So if you say this 2 weeks pay period, I have $100 to give to somebody. I have $50 to give. Or this pay period, because it's my rent this time, I only got $20 to give to somebody. I maybe only have $50 to give. So all of this stuff goes back to budgeting and planning, which we are going to talk about later on. But that's really the best advice that I could give. When you have your numbers down written on paper, you will know for a fact what you can and cannot afford to do. Now, I will say sometimes you have to give that sacrificial offering, stretch yourself. But if it's not really like on that level and you just giving because you can't say no, that's a whole different case. Was that helpful? Let's see. Tithing is so important. Pockets changed when I started sowing and tithing. Yes, for sure. I am so selfless, and giving is the reason I'm living today. I've learned how to use my no currency though, but giving really sets you up for the future. Yes, I overgive too. Andre, did you want to say something? I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, I was just gonna share with what basically I don't know who went, but they were asking how to control giving. When I first got to the States, like growing up, I've always been the person to give because um I know how it feels not having, and so I always feel like I always had to give. Um and when I first started college, I didn't know like I was, moving around America and I didn't know something called scamming. And so because of in the name of being kind and wanting to give, I got scammed
Wow.
and literally like all the money out of my bank and I was barely surviving. Obviously God rewarded my my obedience when I like talked to him about a whole lot of stuff. But I learned to understand to ask God like, is this what you want to give? Like you said, budget, how much you want to give, and then ask God. Like He always shows you. Like even with people like God used me, but oftentimes God would tell you and you would know, like you would get that little nudge. So that's how I learned how to like control my no currency because I got scammed twice in America because the girl didn't know that they scam people over here. And then also to obedience because I remember the start of this year, um I was on scholarship from my school and I wanted to give so much, but then God gave me an amount, but I was like, but everybody's like just be obedient, not knowing that I didn't know that I was not going to come into my contract and I was going to be off scholarship. So God knew before, and so because I was obedient, I was able to fall back on the little change to barely make it by. So always being obedient to give because God know what is your sacrifice compared to somebody else's sacrifice.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, sis. Did anybody else have anything that they would like to share? That was so good. Sherelle says, I'm a huge giver as well, and Tiana, but I had to learn that giving isn't only financially. That is really good. Giving is not just financially. And sometimes when you have those friends or family members that continue to like, let's just say come to you because they're in need, like maybe you just gotta help them dig to the root of the problem. Like, why every single Friday you asking me for $50? What's going on with you? So maybe you may need to say, check out my responsible homegirl so she can help you. Like they always say, like, you don't just give a man a fish, you teach him how to fish and he'll never be hungry. So I love that you said that, Sherelle, that giving is not just financially. Elijah says, I need a happy medium. I got a revelation when I was grabbing my food in the Bible when the Lord speaks about planting seed and multiplying. He's not just talking about with money, but also with words. Our words are planting seeds, and whether the root is financial or spiritual, you will reap the benefits. God will always meet your needs. Yes, always.
And if
Okay.
I can share one more thing, also
Yeah.
too, one thing I've learned that God revealed to me, I believe that this season, because I feel like last year was the hardest season of my entire life in terms of money or what's not, but God allowed it to happen to show me that you cannot save how to say you cannot save people, and like you saying, you got to teach them how to fish. So oftentimes God puts you in a place to help them, but if you think you're the saver, then you end up drowning, and then when you drown, who's going to save you? So God allowed for that to happen even within my family to let me know that hey, it's the mindset. So now I'm at the place where I'm like, okay, God, even with my family, did you give me the go ahead to give to them, or do you want me to allow them to learn their lesson as well? Because obviously we all had to go through stuff to learn our lesson. So yeah, you can't save people. More like do his assignment, but don't take his seat. Don't take God's seat. Yeah.
Girl, do you just want to teach this class? Do you want to teach this class? Oh my gosh. You said a whole mouthful. Girl, and Tiana, I need some water. I need something to drink right now. Andrea, I hope y'all caught every single word that she just said. Every single word. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Okay, last but not least, on reflecting on 2022. Yeah, that girl said, do his assignment, but don't take his seat. You cannot save nobody. You cannot save nobody. Okay, y'all, let's move along. Let's move along. Okay, so reflecting on 2022, I want you to answer these two main questions. The first one, reflecting on 2022, what areas do you need to improve on in 2023? So we just went through some different areas, which were your saving, your spending, your debts, your giving, different stuff like that. What areas do you need to improve on? And then the next, what habits do you believe stopped you from managing your money well? So earlier, some of you all said like eating out. Elijah said laziness, so it's all of these different things. So take some time and think about what habits really stopped you from managing your money well. Was it not planning? Was it a lack of organization? Was it, oh, I just didn't want to do it? Was it just, I work, so I'll spend my money how I want to spend? Or do you have the mindset of, I can't take this money with me. I'm just spending it all right. Like, I really want you to get to the root of why you do the things that you do. So moving along, new year, new money habits. So 5 habits that you must take into 2023. 5 habits. Now in this next section, I have bullet points for you all just because I wanted you, these are like the main things, but I'm also going to be talking about these bullet points. So if you're taking notes, please make sure that you take notes so that later on you can have something to refer to and you can actually make some changes. So habit number 1, budgeting. Your budget is your financial GPS. So I always tell people the GPS that we have in our phones, we type in an address and it takes us from point A to point B. If we make a wrong turn, it's going to redirect us. If something happens, it's going to tell us like a crash is ahead or whatever. Your budget is the same thing for your finances. So when you actually sit down and make a plan for how you are going to use your money, notice I didn't just say spend your money, how you are going to use your money, then you have a plan to help you get from point A to point B. Now, I know you're probably thinking like, okay, Kiani, what's my point B? Your point B is whatever you want it to be. The amount that you want in your savings, whatever investments you want to start making, that trip you want to take with you and your homegirls, whatever amount that you would like to give, like that is your plan B. I'm not your plan B, your point B. So you have to always like just have financial goals and things that you're working towards so that you know that you're not working in vain and that the money that you have coming in is not for you to just spend at Chick-fil-A and Amazon. Number 2, budget every single time you get paid. So I know sometimes we've been taught, oh, create a monthly budget, do this, do that on a monthly basis. When I tell you I hate monthly budgets, I don't like them. And the reason why is because, like I said before, your budget is simply a plan. So every time you have money coming into you, you should be writing down how you plan to use this money. So if you get paid bi-weekly, you should be budgeting bi-weekly. If you get paid weekly, you should be budgeting weekly. If you get paid, let's just say you're a server or, something where you don't get like a consistent paycheck, I would just set one day a week aside where you like, okay, this is going to be the day that I actually look at my finances and I make a plan for what I actually am going to use. 3, adopt a lifestyle budget. So lifestyle budgeting is this term that I coined for basically how I budget my money. So if you get income coming in, you're going to write down.
Yeah, why I left all my stuff in Guido? Why I left my coat? Oh,
I don't know.
make sure.
You just feel. Thank you. So lifestyle budgeting, I want you to write down your income. So how much you got paid. Then on the opposite side of that, your expenses. So when I say expenses, I want you to think about the things that don't change. The things that no matter what you have to pay. That's your rent. That's your car payment. That's your light bill. That may be Apple Music. That may be Disney Plus if you have Disney Plus. That may be your car insurance. Whatever those bills that come in during that time frame, I want you to write that down. Now, the last and final thing that you have to do, I always say there are 4 ways to use money as a tool. Only 4. For short, I call it SSIG. So what are you saving? What are you spending? What are you investing? And what are you giving? So those are the only 4 ways to use money as a tool. So when you think about planning out your money, this is the time where you need to be asking yourself questions. Okay, this is my pay period. Typically, most people, they have more money at the end of the month because if you have an apartment, you pay rent, you pay a mortgage, most of the time that money is coming out on the 1st. So it's going to change based off of the bills that you have during that pay period, based on what you have going on in your life. So the first thing, what am I saving? I always recommend saving at least 10% of what you have coming in. 10%, at least. If you can save more, great. If you got to start off with saving less, that's okay. There was times where I was saving $10 and it wasn't about the $10. It was about the practice of me saving because I knew what I had going on wasn't going to be my forever. I was just in a spot. I was just in a hole that I had to dig myself out of. So don't get caught up on where you are right now. Keep your eye on where you're heading and just go ahead and start developing those good money habits. Number 2, what are you spending? What are you spending this pay period? So think about the gas that you typically spend. That's why I always say, go back and look at those bank statements so you can kind of look at your habits and how much you typically spend, your average, different stuff like that. So what are you spending on gas this month? What are you spending? Let's just say you want to go out with your friends. What are you spending on leisure activities? What are you spending shopping if shopping is your thing? What are you spending? Do you have one of your homegirls, like their birthday is coming up and you want to buy them a gift? Or you just, anything. This is your time to actually sit down and make a plan. And I don't want y'all to think in your head like, oh, this is just so much work to do. No, it's not so much work to do. If you actually just dedicate an hour to it, I promise you, you will be less stressed financially. You will not be at the end of 2023 saying, dang, I worked hard all year long, but I don't have nothing to show for it. I promise you that will not be your reality if you just take the time, an hour, and just budget and plan. Third, investing. What are you investing in? Investing could be as simple as investing in your self-care, investing in your mental health. If you don't have health insurance or your job doesn't provide like these self-care days and you want to go see a therapist or you want to go get a massage or you want to invest in learning a new skill to make you more money. If you want to invest in the stock market, before you can invest in the stock market, you got to learn how to do that. So what are you investing in? Do you want to invest in your self-education by reading a book, taking a class like you are today? This class just happens to be free, but every class that you encounter probably won't be free. A mentorship probably won't be free. What are you investing in? Last but not least, giving. I tithe, so my 10% comes off top, but anything else that I am wanting to give, that's going to be written down right there. And sometimes you don't even know what you want to give, but I would just label it miscellaneous, or I have it right there to give. So that is the process of a lifestyle budget. There are only 4 ways to use money as a tool, y'all. Saving, spending, investing, and giving. Do not be the person that just makes their money, spends their money, and barely saves it. That used to be me. There is more to money than just making it, spending it, and barely saving it. Now, last but not least, consider having multiple bank accounts. This is what helps me keep everything organized. So I have a bills account, I have a leisure account, I have another account where it's just savings that I can't touch. So consider having multiple accounts so that it's organized for you. Second money habit that you need to take into 2023, saving consistently. It's not about what you save, you just need to save. Save something every Saturday. This is a challenge that I launched maybe like 2 years ago, maybe, I'm thinking, where I was just encouraging everybody to save at least $20 every single Saturday, because it was a quote that I read. It was about 70% of Americans didn't have $1,000 in their savings account for an emergency. So I'm like, dang, if 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their account, that's a whole lot of people. A whole lot of people. But if you save $20 for 52 weeks, you have over $1,000. And now you are not a part of that 70%. So just $20, y'all. We spent $20 eating out. We spent $20 in gas, barely, but we still spend it there. So it's $20. If you get in your mind, okay, I just want to save $20 every single Saturday, like clockwork. By the end of the year, if your savings account right now has $0 in it, it got $10 in it, it got $500 in it. In 2023, at least you'll have $1,000 by just saving $20 for 52 weeks. Number 3, make it fun. I have had friends that have said like, oh, every $10 in cash that I get, I'll save it. So I don't spend any $10 that I get. My mom, one time she did like the envelope method. So she had like all of these different envelopes and she labeled it on the top with different number amounts. And she would pull an envelope, and let's just say the envelope had $45 on it. She would put $45 cash in that envelope. Now that worked for her, but it wouldn't work for a person like me because I hate cash. Like, hate cash. She loves cash. I don't think that cash works for my lifestyle. It doesn't really work because I feel like the moment I get cash, I can have $100, and the next time I look in my bag, it's $10 in there. And I'm like, where did my $90 go? So I like swiping my card so I can always have accountability. So even if my $100 is now $10, I can look back at my bank statements and be like, okay, I spent this, I did that. I just like having my receipts. So you just got to make it fun and do what works best for you. The last thing, open a HYSA. That is short for a high yield savings account. Now, a high yield savings account is something that I live by because, for one, they pay you a higher interest rate on your money. So a traditional savings account, it may be like 0.025% pennies on your money, versus a high yield savings account, they may give you like an interest rate of 1% or something like that. Now, granted, 1% isn't a whole lot of money. 1.5% isn't a whole lot of money. But if I'm just letting my money chill in an account, would you rather the 1.5% or the 0.025%? I'm going to take the 1.5% any day. So a high yield savings account, it pays you a higher interest rate on your money. And number 2, it makes it very inconvenient for you to touch your money. So earlier when we were laughing about like the quick transfer, like we'll save money and then we'll always be touching it and different stuff like that. A high yield savings account, you cannot do that because it's going to take you at least 2 days to even get the money. So if you in Target and you trying to do a quick transfer from your high yield savings account, everybody behind you in line is going to be mad because that money is not going to be in your bank account until 48 hours from there. So sometimes you just have to put yourself in a position to win. Sometimes we're just not disciplined enough to actually trust ourselves to keep the money there. So if you're not disciplined to have that money in your traditional savings account, get a HYSA, get a high yield savings account, get one. If you want to look up the best high yield savings account, I will go to bankrate.com. And literally, they compare all of the high yield savings account. I would get one where it's a high interest rate. So the interest rate is high. I would get one where the minimum deposit is low. So minimum deposit is basically like how much money you need to actually open the account. I would get something that's like maybe $0, $50, or $100. They do have high yield savings account where you got to have 10 grand to put in there. I wouldn't necessarily start one with that because, say for instance, something comes up and now you need to move your money. I don't want you getting penalized for not having that cushion in there. So a minimum deposit, the interest rate is high. Other than that, it's free game. Whatever account you choose, you just choose. I have mine with Capital One. It's a Capital One 360 account. That's the one that I have. But it's a lot of other people that I just help and coach. They have one with like Ally. I know Ally is really good. Another thing that I want you to know about high yield savings account is the interest rates. They can go up and they can go down. They are not fixed. So say for instance, you open one up tonight, which I recommend everybody on the call to do. Like, go ahead and take action immediately. There's no need to wait till next week. There's no need to wait till next month. Go ahead and take action. So if you open up one tonight, and let's just say, for instance, the interest rate is 1.5%. Something can happen, and in 2 months, that interest rate can be 3%, or the interest rate can be 0.5%. It really just depends. So like during COVID, I created my high yield savings account, I want to say at the beginning, like maybe January of 2020, when I had got my refund check. COVID happened in March of 2020. So as they are figuring out everything, by April of 2020, our interest rate like literally went to the floor. And it was to the floor for a very long time. And now it's just now starting to come back up. But like I said, a high yield savings account will always, always, always pay you more money than a traditional savings account. So I would just recommend you opening one of those up as soon as you can. Okay, we talked about budgeting. We talked about saving consistently. Number 3, increase your income. Increase your income. Sometimes it's not always about cutting back. Sometimes it's not always about saving. Sometimes you just need more money. So a money habit that you want to take into 2023 is figuring out how you can increase your income. Number 1, what skill set do you use on your job that you can provide for others? So let's say, for instance, I used the example of a teacher earlier. Can you tutor on the side? Can you come up with a program? Can you come up with an ebook? Can you come up with something where you are helping kiddos or you're selling something to the parents? If you are an office manager, can you provide like assistant, like a virtual assistant, or just anything for like maybe a busy business owner? Elijah's on here. Like if you are a boxer, can you train people on the side? Like what is it that you do on your job? What skill sets do you have that you could provide for others that can bring you more money? What comes easy to you that you can monetize? Sometimes we think that the stuff that we do is so like miniature, so light that nobody will pay us for it, but that's not true. It may be somebody on this call right now who is a bomb writer. And I promise you, it's a business owner out there right now who's looking for somebody who can write up their emails. So I want y'all to just take some time and think creatively about what gifts I have, what unique stuff that I have that comes easy to me that I can provide for somebody else. Does it mean that you're going to get bank overnight? Absolutely not. It may take you some time to learn. It may take you some time to market yourself, to put yourself out there, but it's okay. Knowing what it is that you can do can easily create opportunities for you to make more money. Number 3, when was the last time you asked for a raise? Many times we are working on jobs and we're just taking whatever they give us. But you know that you add value to this company. You know that you are an asset to this company. You know that nobody really does your job the way that you do your job. When was the last time you asked for a raise? So think about that. And last but not least, what are you interested in learning? So it may be a new skill set that you're interested in learning that you may have to invest in that could increase your income. So somebody may say, dang, photography looks cool. Let me invest in learning more about photography so I can start that as a side hustle. Or I want to DJ, or I want to learn how to wholesale mobile homes, or I want to learn how to flip and invest properties. I want to learn, like, what is it that you want to learn? Think about it. I'm telling you, your education does not stop after high school. It does not stop after you go to college if you went to college. It does not. So you have to always continue to learn, to grow. And if you all need some podcast recommendations, some book recommendations, I will give those to you. I always like to say, with exposure, execution, and consistency, there is nothing that you can't do. Nothing. But sometimes we have to get exposed. So when I'm listening to a podcast and I hear somebody saying, oh, I made $3,000 off of wholesaling a mobile home, and it wasn't even my mobile home. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let me invest in this course. Y'all, the course costs $250. $250. 6 months later, I closed my first deal and made $3,600. So what's $250 to closing a deal that's $3,600? So you have to make it make sense. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to turn off Netflix and listen to a podcast so that you're exposed to the more that's out there. It's more. You just got to tap into it. You got to tap into it. Yes, I love that y'all are networking in this chat. Let's go. If anyone is looking for a balloon decor specialist, hit up your girl. If anyone wants hair oil or fruit juices, hit me up. Yes. Exercising, getting fit. I love this so much. I love it. And y'all do not take this space for granted, because it's plenty of time. And Tiana, she'll text me, she'll be like, girl, I just sent somebody to the responsible homegirl. So you don't ever know like who is literally out there rooting for you and can share what it is that you're doing. But nobody can share what you're doing if you're not putting yourself out there. You cannot. Number 4, make paying off, that's supposed to say your debt. I don't know how that got cut off, but make paying off your debt a priority. I really, really, really feel strongly about this, because paying the bare minimum is not enough. It is not enough. Compound interest is real. So the more debt that you have, and they just stacking interest on top of interest on top of interest. Yeah, you may owe $8,000 today, but 2 months from now you owe $8,500 because of the compound interest. So don't be crazy. The longer you take to pay off your debt, the more money it's going to cost you in the long run. Make paying off your debt a priority. And that kind of goes back to what I said with reflecting on 2022, actually knowing your numbers. So when you know your numbers, you can know exactly how you want to like attack those debts and how you want to strategically pay it off. If you get extra money, put it towards that debt. I know you want to go buy something new. I know you want to go shop. I know you want to go on this trip, but it's all about balance. If you can just be intentional and be focused, I promise you it will all pay off in the end. Last but not least, number 5, set financial goals and attack them quarterly. Focus on your goals 3 months at a time. So instead of just looking at the whole year, January through December, let's just focus on January through March. What do I want to do for the next 90 days? For the next 90 days, I want to save $400. Okay, boom. I need to be saving this, and this based off of how much I get paid to have $400 in my savings account by the end of this 90-day period. The next 90 days, I want to budget every single time I get paid. And I'm going to have me an accountability partner to make sure that it actually happens. So what is it that you just want to focus on for the next 90 days? Set some financial goals and attack them quarterly. Do not get overwhelmed or intimidated by where you are. My God, y'all, I spelled so many words wrong on this workbook, but it's okay. Don't get overwhelmed or intimidated by where you are. Sometimes it can be very saddening. It can be very discouraging to look at your financial situation and be like, dang, I feel like I have so much more work to do. I feel like I'm so deep in a hole. Don't get overwhelmed and don't get intimidated by it. It is okay. Last but not least, ask yourself why you want to accomplish each goal. If you get to why you want to do what it is that you want to do, it'll make showing up so much easier. It'll make saying yes to your financial goals and no to Amazon so much easier. So make sure you have a strong why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you saving the money that you're saving? Why are you putting the extra money towards your debt? Why are you investing in this class? Why are you investing in this course? Why are you deciding to increase your income? We are not just doing stuff just to do it. No, everything that we do needs to be intentional, because that is the only way that it's going to be sustainable. Everything needs to be intentional. That's the only way it's going to be sustainable. I do not want y'all to be on this Zoom call with me lit because it's January 1st. It's the new year. All of us are feeling real good. And then 3 months from now, I check on you and you like, girl, I still need help managing my money. What have you been doing this last 3 months? And you did not make me talk to you for a whole hour and not take action. And I'm not saying it from a place of judgment or from a harsh place. I'm saying it from a place of love, because I really want you to experience a change for real. We don't want to just say with our mouth, I want this to look different. I want to do different, but don't back it up with execution. Make it make sense. Okay? So make sure you have a strong why so it can make it easier for you to actually achieve those goals. So the last thing that I want to leave y'all with is manage your money so your money isn't managing you. This is something that I always say because I believe if you don't manage your money, you will be one of the people who are out here just doing the bare minimum, not living the life that you deserve, not really investing in your financial future, not just living for real because of your lack of good money habits. If you don't manage your money will definitely tell you what trips you can and cannot go on, who you can and cannot afford to give to. All of this different stuff that we don't want to be obstacles, but because we get in our own way, they become obstacles. Every small, responsible money decision you make adds up to big financial changes. So even though you're saving $10, even though you're saving $50, even though you're saving $100, over time, that 50, that 100, that's going to turn into 1,000. That's going to turn into 5,000. That's going to turn into 10K. It's going to be a time when you look back over your life and be like, dang, I got $10,000 in my savings. I remember when I could barely save $10. I want all of y'all to have that experience. Or dang, I can remember the time where I was eating out every single day. Now I only eat out 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Or when I'm out in these people's streets. Like, you just got to make it work, whatever works best for you. But just know that every small decision that you make, it adds up to big financial changes. Every small, responsible. There's 2 words that I got highlighted, responsible and big. We want big things, and with big things come responsibilities. So just keep that in mind as you are entering into 2023. As you are doing all of these amazing things, know that your responsible homegirl is out here rooting for you. Know that I am a DM away, an email away. Yes, Kiara, think big. That's honestly like my theme for 2023 is thinking big. That's my theme. Thinking big. Y'all know that I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel where I'm always consistently sharing financial education. So if you're like, oh, today was good, but girl, I need some more. Go back, listen to some of my podcast episodes. I promise you, they are so good. And everything that I do is practical because the responsible homegirl is not about me. I reap some of the benefits of the responsible homegirl, but it's about y'all. I don't want y'all to continue experiencing whatever financial struggles you might be experiencing or like experience the financial stress that I experienced in 2019. And I'm so passionate about us really living the lives that we deserve. Nobody is going to come around and just drop $1 million in your lap. If you're dreaming that, hang it up because it's not going to happen. And I don't mean to be harsh, but I'm being so for real. I'm being so serious. You have to start off with managing what you currently have. And then when you get that raise, you go from 25,000 a year to 30,000 a year to 50 to 60 to 100,000 to no cap on my money. No cap. No cap. I do not want you to be like these celebrities out here. They make plenty of money and end up broke. Y'all know, we know all of the stories. So it's not about the amount of money that you have. It's about what you keep. Just because you have money, just because you make a whole lot of money, that don't make you wealthy. Yes, you may be rich, but are you wealthy? And I feel like real wealth comes with management, being a good manager and knowing what it is that you're working towards, knowing exactly what it is that you are working towards. So y'all, that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining. New year, new money habits. Please take these 5 money habits into 2023. Please take some time and reflect on 2022. I am launching a group coaching program that is going to come out very soon because I know today it was a lot thrown at you. And I understand that some people, they just need some people to walk alongside them. So when I launch more information on that, I will definitely email it to y'all. But I just want you to start off here. Start here. And then as you are navigating your own personal finance journey, you're like, Kiani, I need more community. I need more support. I need more accountability. Then I know for a fact the group coaching program will be exactly for you. So before I end the call, let me look at this chat right quick because y'all was chopping it up. go ahead and have the crucial conversation with us now. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you the real every single time. I am not gonna beat around the bush for you at all. This was good. Thank you. Thank Vic. Let's get it. Yes. I love this. Girl, I love you more. Thank you. You're the best. We appreciate and love you. I love y'all so much more. Great class and advice. I am so proud of you. Thanks, sis. We love the responsible homegirl. Are you accepting any donations? Yes, please feel free. You can send anything that you feel led to send to my Cash App. I'll put it in there, or my PayPal. Please put this on your podcast. Also, I'm so heavenly proud of you all. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate all of you all. I would love if y'all could just put on y'all social and tag the responsible homegirl what you thought about the class. It could be a boomerang, it could be just some small words, anything. I'm gonna screenshot the chat as well, because I believe like as more people see like, oh, it's cool to be financially responsible, it's cool to actually take time to invest in your financial education, then we can help more young adults make responsible financial decisions and actually become wealth conscious. We will not be the people when we turn 30, 40, 50, 60, and we like, woulda, coulda, shoulda. That would not be our story, because we actually took the time to do what it is that we needed to do in our 20s, in our 30s, whatever age you are, because it's never too late to start, but the earlier you start, the better. The earlier you start, the better. I really appreciate you all for hopping on. Does anybody have any questions before we end? Go ahead, Kiera.
Okay, so you mentioned about let me make sure I go back here. You were stating like having multiple bank account, multiple banks, excuse me. And I'm trying to figure out like, should I just do I have like two different bank accounts. Currently one for credit score and the other one is personal. So and I do get mail from Capital One, like different banks, because of my credit score, to like open up another account. So should I do it within different banks or do it just under the two accounts that I have?
Okay, that's a great question. I have a follow-up question though. When you say you get mail from different banks, are you talking about for credit cards or actual?
Yeah, just for credit cards, just to open up another credit card. Yeah, just
okay.
credit.
So I would tread lightly with the credit cards, because I don't know why I'm hearing an echo. Yeah. So I would tread lightly with the credit cards, because I don't think it's necessarily wrong with having multiple credit cards, but they just need to be beneficial to you. So are there credit cards where you are getting a great like cash back rewards? Like every time you spend something, they're giving you 5% or they're giving you 4% in cash back rewards or something like that. Or do you like to travel and you're getting travel reward points? Like it just has to make sense. I was talking more so about bank accounts to keep your funds separate. So if you have a bank account where you like, okay, this is where my bills are coming from. Then another bank account, this is where my fund money is. So if I'm saving for a trip, I may have a savings account. Like I'm gonna just use my own example. First Citizens is where I would basically put all of my bill money, and I'm gonna pay my car payment out of there, my phone bill out of there. All of that stuff is out of First Citizens. Now Navy Federal is where I'm gonna have my fun stuff. So if I am let's just say getting gas, the things that aren't really frequent in my life, or if I'm going shopping, I'm gonna swipe my Navy Federal card, not my First Citizen card. So that kind of helps you keep your money separate. Then I have the Capital One, which is a high yield savings account, where I don't even want to see that money, because if I see that money, I might be tempted to touch it. So that was more so the angle that I was talking about with having separate bank accounts. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Yes, you answered it perfectly. Maybe I definitely did word it differently, but you answered it perfectly. So that's what it is. Having multiple bank accounts just for different funding. Gotcha.
Right. Just to be more organized. Because if everything is coming from one stuff, it can be like one account, it can be very easy for you to get confused. Like, dang, I pay my money, I pay my bill here, but then okay, I spent $200 at Forever 21. Like it's just all over the place. And I just wanted to be as simple and as organized and as straightforward as possible. But yeah, that was a great question. Anybody else has any questions? It could be about stuff that we talked about today or didn't talk about. Anything before we end. This is your time. No questions? Okay, well, thank y'all so much for joining. I had this recorded, so it will be posted. I will definitely put it on my podcast. That was a great suggestion. I will put this on the podcast, and I will send you all more information later on when I get my group coaching program up and ready to go. Again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Please take action, and I hope you all have a great, and financially responsible new year. Y'all have a good one. See y'all soon.